how do we reach this next generation with apologetics? I believe it personally it's got to start in the home, but I see increasingly youth struggling under the secular worldview and being scared to stick up for their faith. And I don't want to turn them into, fire-breathing apologetics. And like you say, Ravi, we don't want to, cut off their nose and give them a rose to smell. But how do we give them that love for the lost and that knowledge to push back on this ever-increasing secular worldview? Thank you.
Look, there's no easy solution, and everyone can do their bit, and it's not the pastor's job alone. Ministry, mission, church, they're words that get distorted, and we start to think about them as narrow about certain individuals. We're the church. The person who said to me when I went to work at the warehouse and stopped being an associate pastor in a church said, "Why did you leave the ministry?" I just said, "What? You serious?" So we've all got a role. So everyone needs to do their bit as the people of God in your church, in your place. And then the question is, what's there to support and equip you? That's why Thinking Matters I support. There's so many resources now. Core Kids Christianity for Kids with J. Warner Wallace has started to produce is really good stuff for kids, for example. It's all available online. You can Google it. It's just all available. So I think inviting people to speak, connecting with Rodney, I think the more people who do their bit, and also pushing back on the distorted view of what apologetics is. I think a lot of people are frightened of apologetics because they think it's about arguing with atheists. It's all about complicated science stuff. And I think what I feel called to is more, it's simple really. What is reality and how do we know it? And then putting that into simple language is not there to look clever. And so everyone doing their bit will gradually move the dial. And that may not be motivational, but I think that's how things happen. So Rodney's been with Thinking Matters has grown stuff. Getting Ravi, Confident Christianity has grown over the last few years. I'm actually delivering a course at Carey Theological College, which will be part of the theology degree in apologetics for the first time this year. So it will gradually grow. But we need to make sure it doesn't become the reason some pastors have become afraid of apologetics. When somebody turns up, tries to show they're intellectually superior, tries to be clever, have all the answers, and has no grace and no love. We've got to have both together. And by doing that, the thirst for truth, people are seeing this whole experiential, young kids aren't interested in this, is utter nonsense. They're deeply interested in it. They're deeply interested in the questions of meaning, as Ravi said, the questions of purpose, the questions of how to live. And so we've just got to work out how to do that. And the more people who do it, get the conversation going, use the resource there, the more we will shift the dial.
Great. Can I just add to that, if I may? I've said to some people recently that my daughter recently turned 4,500 days old. And I think one of the issues that we face on this earth is that we measure in such odd ways. And, I want to encourage parents because in those 4,500 days, it's 4,500 opportunities to tell her how wonderful and how unique and beautiful she is. And to kiss her goodnight 4,500 times and to greet her in the morning 4,500 times. And I've got to pay $20 for mentioning her tonight. But not 4,500 times, $20. But the more that we can tell our kids the things, because what I'm observing working in the media is the utter influx and overwhelming information coming at them that's telling them anti-Christian messages, telling them things which are just lies. And it's not surprising to me that the rise of technology and the rise of disbelief are hand in hand. And I could quote you studies that talk about the use of technology causing aggression, depression, and psychosis in children. In fact, I interviewed a guy called Dr. Nicholas Kadaris out of Long Island, New York, who's an addiction specialist. He said it's easier to get people off meth than it is to get them off devices. There's a reason why devices are so popular, and it's killing conversation, it's killing relationship. But be encouraged, parents, because the more we tell them the truth, the more that will permeate who they are. Just keep telling them, and I keep telling my daughter, she's unique, she's wonderful, she's creative. She's the image bearer, she's imago Dei, she carries the image of God.
Can I just add one thing? I'm an idealistic realist, I'm an optimistic pessimist. there's this two equal and opposite errors again. There's this, oh, the world's going all bad, everything's wrong, etc. When we got to get used to the fact we're not in charge anymore. Whoopsie-doo. The Israelites were 400 years in Egypt. So let's get a God perspective for that. Relax a bit, but then do our best. It's those tensions together that, we're not called to be successful. We're not called to win. We're called to be faithful. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And so that brings a peace. It's not about our success. It's not about our performance. But it calls us to action. And, things might get a lot worse before they get better. That's irrelevant. God's in charge.